everybody? This is Robert here, Stoners Podcast. Hey, still on the solo page. Hey, how you doing? Anyway, quick little intro here. The episode that we did a couple weeks ago with Rose Waltz and NeoAoshi went super long, so we cut that up into two. Last week, it was all about that Death Stranding 2 trailer, breakdown, all of their theories. This week is actually the beginning half of what we recorded, all just about Death Stranding 1 and just diving into what those two love about Hideo Kojima and all of the games that he's helped create. So there might be a weird cutoff or a weird cut in at the beginning and the end here, but hey, we had a great time, and hope you enjoy this one, and then we will see you back. Mike and I will see you back next week with another cool guest. Don't want to tell you what that is just yet because we are still working on everything, but enjoy this conversation between myself, Rose Waltz, and NeoAoshi all about Hideo Kojima. Let's get into it. You guys, what the fuck is Death Stranding about? I see a baby in a pod. Rose has a necklace of
it starts
things.
About, I'm going to say 30 million years ago. All right? We're going to start at the beginning.
We are really getting into it.
All right. So this is where it begins. Take a sip. You're right. Buckle up, buckaroo. We're going for a ride. So essentially, if you want a surface level what Death Stranding is, it is a walking simulator with social aspects to it. With the dressing.
That is a question that I definitely have about it. After you explained it to me a bit, because I might be mistaken about it. That and actually Metal Gear Solid 5 has something very similar. But yeah, tell me, what is Death Stranding?
It does, yeah. Death Stranding is essentially a walking simulator that has like social aspects to it, and it's very cool. But the way they make it work. So essentially, you are a character who is tasked with delivering packages throughout the land, and on the surface that might sound pretty boring, but when you layer on top of it the unique story, and you layer on top of the social elements that is involved with this, the game is full. The game juxtaposes a really depressing setting with positive reinforcement at every turn. And I think this is like the really cool thing that it does, because everything around Sam Porter Bridges, the main character played by, Norman Reedus, right? Everything around that is depressing as fuck. Like, the world is ending. There are inky ghost monsters out there trying to kill you. All the terrorists are out there trying to steal your packages because that's how they get by. And all the elements are against you. But everywhere you go, you are reminded that other people are playing the game as well, and you are not alone. And that people will like your structures, the ladders that you leave, the ropes that you leave hanging down for people to climb, the roads that you build, everything that you do will show up in somebody else's world. You'll see something from theirs, and you are allowed to like whatever they leave for you, and vice versa. People will like your stuff as well. And everybody is constantly giving you a thumbs up. Every package you deliver, every person you encounter is like, Sam, I'm so excited to be connected back to the world. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for, letting us all reconnect together. The game's theme is connection. I'm sorry, I am talking for a long time. You can stop me whenever you want.
No, but this is perfect.
Is it? Okay, am I doing good? I'm not even touching the story yet, which is like a whole other nutshell to crack open into, right? Like, that's like, we can go into the story itself if you want to, but I'm just talking about like what you're doing in the game and how the game's like gives you this like positive feedback loop constantly.
And as you're talking, right above me, you guys. Well, yeah, I'm sharing my screen with you guys so you can see what I'm sharing, but
I see it.
The Rad Brad Death Stranding walkthrough gameplay part 1. It looks like right now it's pretty much just the intro video. So
I mean, honestly,
for anybody watching
you
on
could
screen,
also
that's what we got here. Yeah.
At some point, you should play the new trailers that popped up, like the Death Stranding 2 trailers.
We will. We're
going to talk about
that.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like the surface level of what the game is. Like, if you want me to get into like the story, we can. But I want like Rose, what does Death Stranding mean to you?
So you really touched on what I think makes Death Stranding super special, which is like the connectivity. Like, the game's entire themes, a ton of the story is based around it, the bonds that you make. And that is what makes the like open world super exciting, because I am notorious for getting super bored with open worlds. Like Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, no way, couldn't do it.
Well, to be
Just
fair,
a little
they're
too
Zelda
boring.
games,
Whoa,
so
whoa,
obviously
whoa,
they
whoa.
fucking
Pump the
suck.
brakes. Wait a minute. These games are great.
No, they're great games, but
500
I'm
subs
tired
on
of the world,
YouTube,
too.
and I will play Tears of the Kingdom live on stream from front to back.
Do it.
That
Do
is
it.
our
It's
goal for this
amazing.
year. If we get to 500
Yes.
subs on YouTube,
Sorry.
I will play it, and I fucking hate Zelda games.
Oh,
Hate
bro.
all of them.
All right. We'll talk. We'll put a pin in this. We'll come back to this later.
Yeah.
Rose,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Continue.
Yeah.
But Death Stranding's open world was super intriguing because, yeah, like you said, it feels like you're not alone, and you aren't. One of the big things for me was once you get to the like middle section, the largest open world area, my goal was to make basically a zipline train that went from almost every single place to every single other place, because I was 100%ing the game and I was like, I need to make this as easy as possible. And I found
Hell
that
yeah.
along the way there were a ton of other people's zip lines that just like matched perfectly, because other people were thinking the exact same thing. It was saving me resources, it was saving me time, and I was like, okay, this is awesome. This is really, really cool. And I thought about it and I was like, you know what would be super helpful is if a little bit earlier in that open world, there's a long section where you can rebuild the road that goes all the way from where you start to like the middle hub area. And I spent probably 2 whole nights just gathering resources to rebuild that road. And I had like 1 billion likes by the time I 100%ed that game.
Hell
And it was
yeah.
just so much fun. I was like, wow, I really am like helping people out. And it's a very big community feeling, despite the fact that you don't ever actually see anybody else.
That's
There is
what
a button to like call out to people, and then you'll hear like Sam goes, hello, 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 and then you'll hear, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. So like the loneliness, like the game feels isolating, but at the same time, like there is like a constant reminder that you're not alone. But
Right.
yeah, the one of the button, the like button, if you press it when you're not liking something, then you hear Sam go, hello, hello, like an echo across like the wilderness.
Mhm.
And then you get a response. It's great. Sorry,
Very
Mr. Hawks,
cool.
go.
Yeah,
ahead.
no. So I mean, because you guys keep bringing up, connecting each other and like connectivity and stuff, but it is a single player game. That's what I'm most interested in, is because I hear, you guys are saying, you build the road or you build the zip line or you're doing this, and then other people see it. So is this like is it like one shared world where if someone builds part of a road, then you see it in your game? Or what are the mechanics of that? Because I feel like if I'm playing a single player game and I'm building, a road from A to B, I expect that to be in my game. But so is that helping? How is that helping other people in their games? Are they seeing that same road, or?
This is kind of a complex question, because I don't know that the like specific network details were ever explicitly stated by Kojima Productions. But as far as I'm aware, so say I built that road that I mentioned earlier, if there was another person who maybe saw a piece of that road, they probably wouldn't see the entire thing.
Well,
so when you build something,
how would they see part of the road? Is that
so
what
it comes
we're not
in
sure
sections.
about? Okay.
Yeah, it does come in sections. And the materials that you put into like a road, for example, it would probably, like if you built a road, it would probably contribute to their total number of resources needed to build the road, is my guess. That's my guess, is how that works.
Yeah, so it's not like everything that you place gets put in someone else's world. It's like you kind of see a portion of what everyone has kind of built across the network. And I don't know exactly how it decides who gets to see what at all. I have no idea.
There is a feature if you're back at there's these like Sam has private rooms that you can go into throughout the entire
He's got a
trip.
hand tattoo. That's gross.
Dude, you wait till I tell you about these private rooms, Mr. Hawks. We can talk about the private rooms. They're pretty great. But in the private rooms, if you go to like the terminal in there, there's a section that's called social links. And what social links does is it lets you find all the other players' stuff that you want.
I've played Persona. I know what social links are.
Fair enough.
Yeah, look at those nips.
In this specifically, he's got handprints everywhere. Yeah. It's all part of the lore. But the social links specifically, you can actually see a list of all the people of their stuff that you've encountered and the amount of likes that they've acquired over time. And what you can do is you can isolate people in these social links, and I'm assuming the way it works is that it lets you kind of like isolate their stuff. Like if you see someone contributing more to the world, you can like do like a social link with that person, and you can do like a bunch. You can do like 30 or more, and in those, that person's stuff will probably show up a lot more. That's someone that you've encountered the most, and you want to like, it's kind of like adding them to your friends list, if that makes sense. Without ever
Okay.
It sounds
I
like
didn't know that system existed.
Yeah, it sounds like I'm playing. I just started playing WWE 2K25, completely different genre. But hear me out. They've got community creations. Okay, so you can, if you create a wrestler, you create like a picture or an arena or anything, you can upload it and people can go download it. Kind of funny, best friend Olive Party every year goes in there.
Friend, familiar.
Yep, he uploads. He makes like characters like Greg Miller, Johnny Ace. He makes like the symbols, the arenas, and everything, and then he uploads them. So I can go in there, find his creations, and then favorite him as a content creator, so that anytime I'm going to do a search, it's going to kind of put his stuff up first and be like, yeah, you're linked here.
Honestly,
cool. Here's something new. There's
similar.
this. That's kind of it. It's almost like you're favoriting a creator.
Yeah.
Does that sound kind of the same?
Honestly, yeah.
Okay.
That does sound pretty on point. But it's all like very like vague in how it works, because it doesn't really tell you what it's doing behind the scenes. You're just kind of like assuming it's all like just kind of functioning right for you. And it does. Like it's honestly, when Kojima called it like, this is the first Strand type game, people like memed on it and like made fun of it and stuff. Honestly, I think this is what he meant, because this is a very unique take on like the multiplayer social aspect of this kind of game. Like I don't think I can think of another game that's done anything like this ever. Like it's so unique in that regard.
So there is one game that comes to mind. We'll keep talking about Death Stranding, but Metal Gear Solid 5, and correct me if I'm wrong, there was some sort of mechanic where you go in there and you destroy nuclear bombs, but then other people doing it in their games then affects yours, and there's like an overall number. Neo's got
Correct.
a tiny hand. I'm assuming he uses it to jerk off. I apologize for his wife.
I know
it's very
small. It makes it look bigger. Okay,
That's what. That's fair. That's fair. Don't like that. But so that kind of almost the opposite. But it's like I'm doing something in my single player game that is affecting somebody else in their single player game.
Yeah. So there were two multiplayer aspects to Metal Gear Solid 5.
Okay.
One were the forward operating bases, the FOBs, which were a lot of fun.
The Fallout Boys. Yeah.
Fallout Boys, indeed. Yep. That's correct. So one of the main mechanics in Metal Gear Solid 5 was the the ability to like Fulton. You would attach a balloon to something, and then you would send it back to home base, and you would gather materials in this way, and you would upgrade your main base. But they let you have these online bases called forward operating bases, and you could dump resources into those things, and it would kind of build out those structures. You could take those structures online, and you would get a notification when you're playing Metal Gear Solid 5 that, hey, another player is invading your forward operating base. And you could stop what you're doing in the mission right away and go, hey, I want to respond to this right now. It would send you to your forward operating base. Okay. And then you would do like a one-on-one battle with them infiltrating Metal Gear Solid style, like infiltrating your base, and you would be defending it using all of the resources at your disposal. Pretty freaking cool multiplayer system, if I do say so myself.
It was really
like
awesome.
the hidden base feature in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. Only somebody can go into it, Look, I'm just saying, maybe Kojima steals things from Pokemon. That's all I'm trying to say.
He might have.
Okay. So Rose, I want to hear from you about Death Stranding. And were you a Kojima fan? Obviously, have you been a Kojima fan before Death Stranding? Has this kind of been your shit?
I was Kojima fan since probably when Metal Gear Solid 4 came out was the first time I started with the franchise, because MGS 2 and 3 were a little bit before my time. So MGS 4 in 2008 was really the first time I got to play it, and after I played MGS4. I played HD Collection when it released, and I fell in love with Metal Gear Solid 2, and then it was 5 and Ground Zeroes soon after, and I was like, hey, this Kojima guy's, he's got some pretty fun video game ideas that are pretty cool. I like what he's doing. And then Death Stranding was just ended up being my favorite game of all time. So yeah, I've kind of become a fanboy since then.
Now, I mean, let's start with Rose. What is it about Hideo Kojima's games that makes people fall in love? Because I haven't played. I'll be completely honest. I haven't played any Metal Gear games. They weren't my cup of tea when they first came out. I haven't played Death Stranding because I had a PS4 when it first came out, but like I'm an Xbox guy. You
could have played it. No.
I know. I mean, now I can, but it's just like I just never jumped onto the Kojima train. But obviously, there's people out there that fucking love the guy and almost worship the guy. But what is it about like these kind of these narratives that he's coming out with that is intriguing to you?
Yeah, so I actually have two reasons I think why I enjoy Kojima's games so much. The first one is like you mentioned, the narratives he comes up with, especially in the Metal Gear Solid franchise. This like kind of alt history angle that Kojima took with pretty much all the Metal Gear Solid games is incredibly interesting. And even though it is like heavy parts of it are fiction, like the Metal Gears, there is a lot of like real world info and facts that are strewn in here. And more importantly, more than just the narrative hitting. For the narrative itself, so many of the games are based around the themes and solidifying these specific themes, which is specifically why I like Metal Gear Solid 2's narrative so much. And I think with Death Stranding, it was the exact same thing. It was like this heavy overarching narrative that brought together these themes of connectivity and bonds and how death affects them, and was able to overlay that over a ton of different narrative set pieces and still feel like cohesive and coherent. And then by the end, it was just an excellent kind of amalgamation of all of the things that had built up put together. Yeah. And then the other thing that I really enjoy Kojima's games for is I like video games as a medium, as a gamer, believe it or not. But I do feel like a heavy amount of developers do not leverage the medium of video games and its interactivity to its fullest to either tell their story or enhance their gameplay. And I think Kojima has always kind of gone above and beyond in that regard. I think the best example, to keep it brief, is probably Psycho Mantis in Metal Gear Solid 1, reading your memory card, making you switch controller ports. There was really nothing like that leveraged everything the PlayStation had to offer, and I think Kojima continues to do that to this day, to various extents, just kind of enhancing and elevating and using the interactivity of video games to elevate his narratives and his games as a whole.
Okay. Neo?
I mean,
I swear to God, Neo, I wanted you to just be like, I like robots, and just stop talking. Like
big mech battles, cool.
Yeah,
love that.
But yeah,
honestly, a lot of what Rose said is like pretty spot on. Like using the way he tells like his stories and uses his like narrative ability is like super unique. Like the guy's a like a huge film buff, right? He loves tweeting about his movies and like whatever he's watching. And
he loves Paddington.
He loves Paddington, dude. I mean, it's a brilliant movie.
I like his movie tweets where he's like, I just saw this movie in the theater.
If he writes more than one sentence, you know it's a banger. If he says like, saw Captain America.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's not good. That is not a Kojima endorsement. But what was I saying? Oh, like he took the medium.
I'm listening. I've got I'm just gonna grab a drink, but I'm listening to you.
Go for it.
Just letting you know.
The way he uses the video game medium to tell like cinematic stories is so unique because he gets to do things like Psycho Mantis. He breaks the fourth wall so often throughout the entire story. Psycho Mantis is a really good example of that. Metal Gear Solid 2, they do it multiple times. Like at the I'm gonna spoilers for the end of Metal Gear Solid 2, but the game like completely goes batshit by the end of the game, and like the guy, like one of the guys that you talk to throughout the game goes, Raiden, you've been playing too long. Turn the game console off right now. He'll say things like virtuous mission number 4, and he'll pull up like footage from like the old like VR missions and like really wacky shit. Like he'll play with you. One of the things that go ahead.
You go ahead first. I was just going to add on to what you said about the end of Metal Gear Solid 2, but we can circle back.
We can circle. Okay, yeah, we can circle about this. Dude, Metal Gear Solid 2. I just finished doing a kind of a playthrough with our friend Verum Dex, friend of the show.
Recent episode, Game Swap 2 with NeoAoshi and Verum Dex. Check it out.
Yeah, we did a thing where he's showing me Kingdom Hearts for the first time. I've never played it, and I'm showing him Metal Gear Solid for the first time. So we just did our Kingdom Hearts 2 Metal Gear Solid 2 playthrough, and watching somebody else play those games for the first time is like magical. I love it because I don't think there's like anything like those.
It's funny,
games.
like you guys just finished that, and I think right as Dex finished his playthrough of MGS2, Rose started playing it on her stream too. As someone who like fully loves the game, and she was just going through, finished it recently. I'm right? I'm not wrong.
Yeah, we've been playing through the whole Metal Gear Solid franchise. So we just finished 2 a couple weeks ago, and finished 3 2 weeks ago, and then just started Peace Walker.
So I'm just can I give you a little look behind Peace Walker's so good. Anyway, sorry,
I
can get distracted. I can get distracted all day with these games.
That's literally what we're here for. Is I want you to kind of fucking sell me on Hideo Kojima.
Shit out of this.
And I know that he is a film buff, and I also know that Hideo Kojima and I both own the same DVD classic film. Okay?
The Snowbike Mike movie?
Snowbike Mike goes big.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude, have you watched it?
No. Not yet.
Oh my god. You have I need to know what that movie is.
This is the disc artwork.
Holy
Whoa,
shit.
authentic.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know if you know this story, but a bunch of kind of funny employees went to Japan, and they went into Kojima's studios and met Kojima, and one of the guys was like, "We know you like movies. Our employee friend Snowbike Mike has made a movie, and he wants to give it to you." And it's like his home movies of him doing like skiing and like all kinds of like
snowbiking. Yeah.
And snowbiking. Yeah. So Kojima has a copy of that.
Yeah. We're still waiting to see if he tweets. I watched Snowbike Mike Goes Big, and it's
all right.
And he's got another paragraph at least.
Yeah.
Talking about it.
It's 5 tweets.
Wait for the tweet. You gotta wait for it.
Yeah.
Dude, I go to Japan in a month. Like I'm in like on the 8th. Yeah, the 8th. Do I try and show up at Kojima Productions and get a tour? Like,
brother, if you were there,
try and do that.
Worst case scenario, you walk in and be like, "Hey, do you guys do tours?" And they say, "I can't understand you," in Japanese.
Can I take a picture in front of the Luden statue, please? I would love to just be next to the Luden statue. I'm gonna look up where they're located.
Oh God, Oliver.
Side on the side monitor here, but because I want to know if it's in my path of my travel path. But anyway, back to Metal Gear Solid and Kojima in a nutshell. I loved the narrative that he
Naked
weaves.
Norman, and honestly, hold on, let me. Okay.
Sorry. Oh yeah, we love nudity. Kojima loves nudity. That happens a lot. Don't worry.
We all do.
Don't worry.
But
was it Norman Reedus' butt on the screen?
It was Norman's. Yeah, Norman. It was the top of the crack, so I skipped over.
Yeah. It was a post void out. He
can't have clothes during those. So.
You can't do that. But yeah, to talk about Kojima itself, like Rose, you said this too. Like the way he weaves in history into this alternate history kind of narrative that like uses, dude, he pulls up in like Metal Gear Solid 1, like the Cuba Missile Crisis. He'll talk about things and events in history that are actually weaving into the narrative that happens to involve like mechs and clones and like all kinds of wild shit.
Sounds like
Metal
Fallout.
Gear Solid 1. Yeah.
I'm not saying he stole it from Fallout. Okay, I'm just saying maybe
I don't know. I don't see it.
Quick fun fact about that note. So the wig at the end of Metal Gear Solid 3, the model that they're using actually can't be used for what they use it for like flying over the mountain. It's like a low over the water hovercraft, but the model number that is on the side is almost identical to one that's like in some museum that was actually used. It's like 2 of the numbers have been changed or something. Yeah, there's like a lot of real world stuff.
The aircraft where Ocelot and Naked Snake are fighting?
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's cool. Sorry, it's future spoiler.
No. You mentioned Ocelot. I got a text from our friend Verum Dex, and he wanted me to ask Neo this, and I said, I've got to ask it on the podcast because Rose might also have an opinion. I need you to ask Neo at some point about Otacon letting his stepsister drown to get freaky with his stepmom.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's dude, and you know the worst part about that is that's not even the worst part about Otacon's family. That it gets like way worse.
Otacon's dad, Huey, is often considered the worst person in all of Metal Gear Solid canon.
Is it Huey Khan?
No, Huey.
No.
What is Otacon's last name? Emmerich, yeah.
Yeah, Huey's a character in like the pre Metal Gear Solid games, like the ones that take place in the timeline earlier. And yeah, he is easily one of the worst characters in the entire series.
Like, so you're saying that Otacon
I'm right there with you,
his
Rose.
sister?
Yeah.
No. Otacon let his sister almost die drowning while he was banging his stepmother.
I think I've seen that video.
Which caused his dad to commit suicide by jumping into a pool with his stepsister, which is why she has a phobia of water in Metal Gear Solid 2, which is why Raiden has to carry her through.
Turns into a gameplay mechanic.
Big shell, yeah.
I've seen that. I saw that actually. I think on Dex's stream and then on Rose's stream. Like right after I saw it on Dex's and he finished the game. Rose, you streamed like a couple days later, and you were at that part, and I was like, "Is this all this fucking game is?"
No, it's just a section, but they like he weaves it into the plot. He does it a lot, man. Like, man, there's a bisexual vampire who like can walk on water. Like, dude, like he's so creative with his bosses. That's like often what he gets praised for in the Metal Gear Solid series.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the story, okay, people like to go off the hinge about like Metal Gear Solid's story, like not making sense, and it's all over the place, and it's crazy. I promise you, if you played just 1 through 5, you don't really need Peace Walker. Peace Walker adds a lot of context to 3 and 5.
Is it Guillermo del Toro? Guillermo del Toro.
That is Guillermo del Toro.
Okay. Well,
yeah, dude, Death Stranding is all about him putting his friends inside the game. And anyway,
I know that Jeff Keighley is in there. And I know that Conan O'Brien is in there.
Conan O'Brien's
so it's obviously one of the best games ever made. I don't need to play it. I don't need to play it.
Junji Ito's in there, the director of Drive, and the movie. What is his other? I can't remember the name of his other film, but Nicholas Winding Refn, he's in there.
Yeah, he's Heartman, right?
Yeah, my favorite character in Death Stranding, by the way, is Heartman.
You like Heartman? Oh,
I love him.
Oh, all right. I keep getting sidetracked about Metal Gear Solid, but yeah, we can jump back to Death Stranding if we want to.
I just noticed him on screen as we're talking
on these
here.
Games. Yeah, I did a good enough job to sell Verum Dex on these games, and I got him to play 2 of them. So I'm going to consider that a huge a huge win.
Hey, now we've got Metal Gear Solid up on the screen, and it's actually Rose Waltz. The Metal Gear Solid games are still incredible on Rose's YouTube channel.
Dude.
So
that's my video essay of 1 through 5 in Peace Walker.
Yep.
Oh man, you did it! I have to watch this. I have to watch it. I love watching Metal Gear video essays. No joke. Super Bunny Hop. Shout out to Super Bunny Hop, man. That's one of my favorite series of all time. But
that's what inspired me to make that one, was Super Bunny Hop's fit.
Really? You know? Oh, dude.
So since we're talking about Metal Gear right now,
I don't know if you know this now.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's what we do here on Story Motors Podcast. We make lifelong friends.
Friendship. Before we get too sidetracked, while we're still talking about narrative, I wanted to briefly talk about Metal Gear Solid 2 and the ending specifically. You mentioned the part where Colonel goes crazy.
All spoilers, everybody. Spoilers.
All spoilers.
We're spoiling this shit.
It's a bit old.
It's all the stuff in. It's all the stuff in Arsenal Gear. Basically.
Fuck Arsenal.
There's like a very prevailing. There's a very prevailing fan theory that I kind of subscribe to a little bit as well. That all the stuff in Arsenal Gear up until you get to meet Solidus, don't happen. Like, they aren't real. It's all
really
like VR shenanigans.
So, Okay, go ahead. Sorry, finish.
I was gonna say the biggest thing of it is mostly that, like this whole strange, like it also fits in real life because of the GW virus. Like it could be very, very real, but at the same time, it all fits into this thing because it's when Raiden's role, which is the entire theme of the game, is Raiden fulfilling this role and being unable to tell like reality from what has been scripted for him to look like Shadow Moses, and once he finds out that his girlfriend
Great song,
was
by the
also
way.
like
Shadow Moses, great song. Go ahead.
big Bring Me the Horizon fan.
Yeah. Amo, best album. Yeah.
And like this whole thing when Raiden figures out that like so much of his life up to this point has been manufactured and he can't tell what is real and what is fake, and then Arsenal gear and all the stuff with the Colonel going haywire and it also being ambiguous, like Solid Snake being like, yeah, I have infinite ammo because of the headband. It's like very
That's the fourth wall shit. That's the fourth
exactly.
wall shit. Yeah.
So it's like the player is confused to mirror Raiden's confusion with the entire situation, and it's just that kind of like thematic climax that I think Kojima does really
100%. So, if I may throw my hat into that ring, even in Metal Gear Solid 1, Snake is in a constant state of confusion because the powers that be are keeping information from him. He's constantly asking like, Colonel, what aren't you telling me? And like all this stuff, right? And then of course it's mirrored in Raiden when you see him in Metal Gear Solid 2. I like that theory that like, what is it? You think it's like all a dream post Arsenal gear up until Solidus?
Yeah,
Arsenal.
just everything from when I guess I won't spoil who Gray Fox is. We won't spoil one thing, I suppose. Like
I know what you're
tasers
talking
you
about. Yeah.
at the end of the greatest cutscene in video games, in my opinion, when Otacon and Snake do their bro handshake, and then Otacon goes behind the door and just absolutely loses it.
That's that GIF is my sub GIF on my channel
It's solid.
because it's the best.
That's good.
And liquid.
Yeah, so it's just like because like Raiden's steps, the whole scenario is so bizarre with the AI going haywire, with him being naked the entire time, you not being able to use a ton of your abilities, the torture sequence being really weird, like everything about it.
The Arsenal room is named after like
Arsenal.
Like stomach. It's named after like internal parts because like you're going through the organ of Arsenal, like you're going through his like digestive system.
I'm gonna keep
and
saying
every
fuck
time you
Arsenal. I fucking hate them.
Sorry.
Okay.
And every time you take a step, you get like the VR hexagons that spread out, similar. And this is just like a theory. I don't know that there's ever anything to like definitively say one way or the other. But I always thought it was interesting how something like this could be tied into just the whole theme.
I do think, for the most part, in the entirety of the big shell section, you are never talking to the actual Colonel Campbell.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And Rose, like it's not Rose, it's not the Colonel. It is, I believe, it is the GW system the whole time. And the moment you inject Emma's virus into it, that's when shit goes fucking nuts, right? That's like when it starts telling you things like I need scissors 61, like all that good stuff, you know. That used to be my favorite thing to say, just like flapjacks and the raw space, Harry Carey rock. Yeah, dude,
I know Harry Carey
in Metal Gear.
I know
in
that
Metal Gear
reference.
Solid 4, in Metal Gear Solid 4, there's an Easter egg where if you go into this field of flowers in one of the missions, you will hear over your codec the Colonel recounting that story of the alien abduction that he does during that section of Metal Gear Solid 2.
Hell yeah. Oh man, that's so fucking funny. Yeah. Dude, the amount of detail and thought that he puts into these stories. Like, I didn't know. I learned something new doing this. I have beaten Metal Gear Solid 2 probably 15 times in my life. Like, I have replayed it on multiple difficulties and like the European Extreme, like all that bullshit. No kill runs, love that. You know what I mean? Like, get all the dog tags. I learned something new through Dex's playthrough because of people in the chat, which was kind of nice. I didn't know Johnny is in the section of Emma, you know, the part where she's crossing. I didn't know that you heard him talk.
I just learned about this. My stream chat told me when we played it a few weeks ago. I had no idea either. They were like, hey, you should pull out the directional microphone and point it at the pillars when Emma goes by. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
It's crazy what this game has in it. And like, you can also hear Solid Snake because he's sniping across from you, helping you out. And you can hear him say like some weird thing about like, oh, I wonder if I should hit on Hal's sister. Like, he says something like that. Yeah.
There was something in I think it was because once again, you Dex and Rose, you were both kind of playing Metal Gear Solid 2 around the same time. So I think it was in Dex's stream where he was sneaking through some sort of like meeting, and there was a projector.
Yeah, that's
that would go here and like
the
here's a
first
girl,
chapter.
here's a girl. And then somebody in your chat was like, if you press the button to switch it over here over and over again, they'll just keep moving, and then it will, like, something will happen if you do it so many times. And you were on screen being like, what? I've never heard of that. And then he did it, and
I've
it
never done
happened,
that.
and you were freaking out, being like,
Dude, learning something
Like-
new about a game that you've played since 2001? Like, are you kidding me? That's
And that's
insane.
what Kojima does so good. He puts all these little things in the games that like add that it feels like he's really utilizing the medium in an interesting way.
My favorite thing to tell people about was the E3 demo of Metal Gear Solid 2, where he was showing up. Like, first of all the marketing material never showed Raiden. It never showed the big shell incident. It never showed anything past the tanker. My favorite thing was when he goes behind the bar in the tanker, and he's like, I'm going to shoot this ice bucket. And you'll notice if you look at the ice cubes that are clumped closer together are going to melt a lot slower than the ones that are like singled out. This is the kind of technology that we're implementing in Metal Gear Solid 2. Like, my little kid ass brain was like, dude, Metal Gear Solid 1 came out like 2 years ago. This is fucking crazy.
did
I'm
you
like
cook
a
this
freshman
up?
in high school. I was like so excited for this game. I bought the Zone of the Enders game just so I could play that tanker demo. Like, are you kidding me? Like, holy shit.
So once again, I've never played a Metal Gear Solid 2 game. Or Metal Gear
change it.
game.
Time
Metal
to
Gear
change
Solid
that.
game. Actually, you know what? I played a little bit of Metal Gear Solid on the Game Boy Color. Because I rented
honestly,
it from Blockbuster.
I've never played that game.
Rose. So Blockbuster was this place where you could go, spend money, and then kind of borrow a game.
I knew about Blockbuster because my friends and I used to play ATV versus motocross on the PlayStation back in the day, and we would have to go to Blockbuster to get it.
But like they 1 year, like, well, when that came out, obviously, they were like, hey, now we're doing Game Boy rentals. And I went there and just wanted to rent a Game Boy game as a kid, and Metal Gear Solid had just come out, so I grabbed that one and played it. I think that it plays more like the original Metal Gear games, but I had no, not like kind of looking back now, I'm like, that was more of an original one. That's probably the only Metal Gear game that I've played. But that being said, I was into gaming when 2 came out, obviously, and I was subscribed to EGM, Electronic Gaming. Rose, there were these things called magazines. They were paper.
No, these I don't know about.
Yeah, they were paper, and they had pictures, and they would come out monthly. You would open them. You would do this.
Ooh.
You couldn't swipe.
Yeah,
you couldn't swipe.
I got it
You would
ready.
do this, and then
Were those the things that had like little games you could play, like crosswords and stuff in them?
yes, yeah, you had a pen. You would write. Yes, so there were magazines.
Yeah, those were the doctor's office toys. I remember those.
Yeah, the
This
doctor's
is
office
upsetting.
toys. Yeah.
This is really upsetting.
But no, I was a subscriber to EGM. By that, I mean my parents paid for my subscription to EGM because I was a child. But like, even I knew about the backlash of Metal Gear Solid 2. As somebody who didn't play it, was not interested in the game, I remember reading about it in the magazines. I remember hearing my people in school complaining and being like, "What the fudge?" I live in Utah; they can't swear.
Oh, okay.
But they were like, "What the? What? I don't want to play as this guy. I want to play as Solid Snake. Why are they doing this?" And
Yeah.
the fact that and I don't think you can do it nowadays, but like the fact that one of the biggest games of all time, and when it came out, one of the biggest games of the year and one of the most anticipated ones, was such a bait and switch, and nobody saw it coming.
Nobody saw it. None of the marketing had it.
None of the marketing had it, and like I said, I remember hearing about it in school. People who were like huge gamers. I think I had a couple of I had a friend who, took time off of, or I say time off of school. That's not a thing. You don't have PTO at school. Took like his parents let him call out sick or something, so that he could go and play Metal Gear Solid 2, and he went and bought it the day it came out and went home and played it. And yeah, when he came back, he was like, I'm not playing as Snake. I'm playing as this other guy.
Yeah,
And-
twinks weren't as popular back then, I
Yeah.
guess.
And we didn't have the term twink. Now we do. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
people were
see,
upset.
Rose, back in the day. No, I'm just
Oh
kidding.
my god.
My favorite thing about that is even up until the end of the game, I'm convinced that Kojima purposely splits up Snake and Raiden just enough in the plant section that it kind of seems like there might be a second like playthrough where you can play as Snake.
Sure.
Like he goes off on his own and defuses bombs. At the very end, he fights Fortune, and Raiden goes off on his own, and it's like, maybe
I'm
we
gonna
get
play
to
Snake now. Yeah.
And you just don't.
You just
You
don't.
don't. There's a documentary called The Document of Metal Gear Solid 2. And he actually goes into this, like the reason
Neo,
why
I
he
want
like,
you to
did a-
send me the name of that over Discord later because I want to find it and watch it.
Sure,
Just saying
sure.
that. I'm just pointing that out. Yeah.
Yeah, the document. I think you can torrent it. I think it's out there. But just whatever. It's fine. They don't sell it. Anyway, in it, I believe Kojima states something like, for the case of Raiden, he wanted the player to be able to view the character of Solid Snake as looking upon a hero. Like in the first game, you played as the hero. In the second game, you played as the aspiring hero. And they wanted Snake to be a part of the story as like almost like a mentor figure, but not really, but kind of someone that you looked up to and wanted to aspire to be like. He wanted to put you in a different perspective. More or less, in the case of Raiden, who is kind of the rookie, but like in his case at least.
So is Raiden in Metal Gear Solid 1?
No,
He's like a kind of a
is
brand new
first
character made
introduced
for
in
2.
Correct.
Okay.
Completely
okay.
new character.
Okay. So we're going to talk about Death Stranding 2 here in a bit.
Yeah, for sure.
But right now, I want to talk. We're deep into Metal Gear talk.
I could do this all day, by the way.
All right, Captain America, that's fine.
Yeah.
Do this all day.
But so, can one of you tell me the storyline of Metal Gear and Metal Gear Solid?
Oh.
The original Metal
Not-
Gear.
What is? Are there multiple storyline? Are there multiple timelines? Is it all together?
Rose.
Did Kojima create the original Metal Gear? Like, is all of it coming
He
from
did.
him? Like on
Yes.
the NES? It was an NES, right? Metal Gear.
Yes.
Okay.
Rose, do you want to take this? Do you want me to? What do you want to do? A tag team it? How do you want to do this?
Yeah, maybe we take it one step at a time and
Okay.
just back and forth, because
Remember,
you
I've
asked
been
a
drinking.
daunting question.
Yeah.
Just
So
an absurd question.
Metal Gear
Hey,
Solid.
that's why I need. So legitimately, when the Death Stranding 2 trailer happened, I was like, oh, I would love to do an episode on that, but I don't know anything. And I
Sure.
thought I know 2 people at least that are huge on Hideo Kojima and like Metal Gear and everything, and it was the 2 of you. And I'm so fucking happy that both of you can be here tonight, because
You got it.
here's the thing, and this might sound bad. I don't want this to sound bad. I mean this in the most loving way possible. Right now, I feel like Mike feels on most episodes, where the 2 of you are talking about everything, and I'm listening, and I'm taking it all in, but like I'm just like I'm here, and I'm just kind of
It's just
no. I'm just like I can't really add anything to it because I can't.
Sure.
I'm not like, oh yeah, Metal Gear Solid 2 when this thing happened, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't have that knowledge. I'm just watching 2 fucking geniuses
Nerds.
about all this shit. Nerds, yeah, we're all
That was a
nerds.
very
Who gives a
nice way
shit?
to put
But
that.
like,
That was very nice.
like 2 goddamn experts on the subject teaching my dumb fucking smooth brain with a beautiful haircut about
Well-
what these games are.
Mr. Hawks, let me dumb it down for you. All right. This is
Gun.
peasant status. No. Essentially, Metal Gear Solid is a political thriller that is based pretty much off of like action movie tropes. It starts out honestly
Wait,
like
hold on, really quick though. I was told they didn't start adding politics to games until like 3 years ago.
Oh, I fucking
I'm a-
forgot. Kojima's woke now.
He's so woke, dude. He made that one chick naked and she has to breathe through her skin. because of
She
some
has to.
reason.
It's
She
it's
has
so
to.
important. She has no clothes on, and it's really important. Her feet are dangling around when you go visit her. It's
Yeah,
so
they had to
important. to the
3D scan them
story.
feet, them grippers. Okay, so it is a political game, and by every stretch of the imagination. I wanted to go into like deeper detail on the plot, but like essentially, it is like there are
But we have time.
bisexual
Go
people
ahead.
in it. There are gay people in it. There are trans people in it. There are things about the past that the American government and the atrocities that they commit. It goes deep into that. It goes into like World War II veterans and like what it means to be a soldier, what it means to be like in love, it goes through all of these themes. And in fact, Metal Gear Solid, the quadrilogy, has like these explicit themes that it likes to follow.
That's
Metal Gear
4.
Solid 1 essentially 4, yeah. I'm not talking about 5. I consider 5 to be a very different beast.
Okay.
And that could also be explained away that they didn't use the number 5, they used the Roman numeral 5, because that's always a Kojima thing. That's just another theory that I have. He used the Roman numeral instead of the number. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so you're
Rose?
saying that WrestleMania 40 doesn't count because it was a Roman numeral? All right.
These games that you're mentioning aren't even in the same league as the Kojima game. I'm so sorry.
WrestleMania 40 is not a game. It is a lifestyle, you fucking cretin. Okay?
My bad. I shouldn't come into your house and throw bricks.
I was in Philadelphia for WrestleMania 40, and we weren't. I told Rose this before we started recording, and I'm so mad. It's like when you get into a band right after they toured in your city. That's what I feel like with going with you and I becoming friends right after I left Philadelphia.
It
for
sucks,
WrestleMania
man.
40. Yeah, but
essentially, I think a lot of Kojima gets a lot of influences from a lot of action movies. Snake is kind of based off of Snake Plissken from Escape from New York. Yeah,
kind of.
Yeah.
How did he? And I saw this on both the streams. How did he introduce himself in Metal Gear Solid 2?
I'm Lieutenant J.G. Plissken.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Eat my ass.
Iroquois Plissken.
Iroquois Plissken. Fuck you, Neo. Rose, join me. Say fuck you, Neo.
No, I don't want to say that.
Fuck you, Neo.
We're best friends now. You can't do that.
I know.
But a lot of the influences that I see a lot of influence in Metal Gear Solid 1 from like the movie The Rock. I get so much The Rock vibes. You know, the Nicolas Cage, Sean Connery movie.
Yeah.
100%. But essentially, it's like you are the hero, lone infiltrator stopping the terrorist threat. That is it in a nutshell. And the threat, and you uncover military, like, you know, like top secret stuff that, you know, is all. Oh my God, I'm losing my words now because I'm so like my brain's going everywhere. I want to say everything at once. You uncover like government secrets and conspiracies, and ultimately it leads to the creation of one of like the greatest weapons that the world will ever know, and it becomes this epic takedown of like your proclaimed brother, who you have an epic fight on top of this big tank at the end, and
you're both shirtless.
You're both shirtless, man. Just like pixel titties all up in that, you know? It's a great game. It's a great story. They throw a little love story in there. They give you emotional twists. There's betrayal. Like, it's got all the beats that you would want out of like a good story and action telling. Or an action story telling. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. I lost that word. And it continues to tell this ultimate saga throughout the rest of its games of, it spans to the past, to the Cold War. And that becomes a huge part of linking the stories together, which we will get later this year with Metal Gear Solid Delta. Rose, how excited are you for Delta? Are you excited for Delta? What are your thoughts on Delta?
I'm going to speak truthfully, which is if Konami can faithfully remake it, sure, it's fine. I'm sure it'll be a great entry for new people to play.
Yes. I definitely wanted to talk about this with the two of you specifically. So, Rose, go ahead.
If they ruin it in any way, if they take out any of the charm, if Ocelot doesn't fucking meow, and this is how people are introduced to the franchise, I'm going to be so unbelievably upset with Konami.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
not to mention,
we're
Konami
talking
has
about
a really bad history with like handling the properties without Kojima. Just want to put that out there. And they're just bad in general. The fallout between Kojima and Konami was like holy shit. What the fuck? How dare you treat people like that?
yeah. Since we've got it up here, I mean, what are your, like, the two of you? What are your thoughts on Konami remaking? Because that is a remake, if I'm not mistaken. That's like a full on. We're remaking 3 based on 3. You know, we're remaking Snake Eater based on the original. So like, and with Kojima being such like a prolific game creator, how are the two of you expecting that remake to be? Are you expecting it to be kind of a faithful remake? Are you expecting it to be changed, updated for modern audiences, if you will? Like, are there things in 3 that you're like, you know what? If they get rid of this, or if they add this or change this, it's fine. But if they change this, you know, like Ocelot meowing, like, then go ahead and fuck yourself.
There is so much of that if they touch or remove or change, it
falls apart.
Like,
yeah. So are the two of you thinking it's going, because it looks incredible, like graphics wise, it looks beautiful. I don't think we can argue with that. But
a lot of the qualities that make a Kojima game are his direction. And literally every shot that he chooses, every character direction that like you see, like Ocelot meowing and messing with guns and flipping them over his finger and doing all those tricks, like those are all part of his characters, and everything that makes, like, every camera shot, every angle, every interaction with these characters, like that's Kojima, and you can't take that away. Otherwise it won't be the same. Like, oh man, what was a game that I'm watching the Rurouni Kenshin remake that's currently going on. All right, it's an old anime from the 90s about a samurai. I have a Sakaba. I'm a huge fan. That's my Aoshi is my. I'm named after a character from. I named myself after a character from the show. Huge fan back in the 90s. This show, and they're remaking it currently. And I'm at a point now where I'm kind of like hate watching it because they've removed a lot of the charm and a lot of like the sauce that made it special. The animation change looks beautiful, but it ultimately took away from a lot of like the emphasis of the emotion and a lot of the scenes. On the other hand, Ranma 1/2 is another anime. Sorry if I'm going on an anime tangent.
Don't worry about it.
But it's Ranma 1/2 is a comedy, romance, martial art anime. Really cute. It's about a guy who gets cold water dumped on him and he turns into a girl. It's super adorable. It's really funny. The remake is doing it justice in this weird way. I love the original anime. The new one is like adding this special charm to it, if that makes sense. But it's not taking away from like the original show. So it's like I'm bringing up these two shows that are currently doing these like remake runs to kind of hope that I get a Ranma 1/2 instead of a Rurouni Kenshin remake. You know what I mean? If that this analogy that I'm saying makes sense.
And I think it's a real tough deal for Konami because a lot of people, a lot of Metal Gear fans consider Metal Gear Solid 3 the best game in the franchise by like a wide margin. It'll be their
my favorite for the record. I think 2
Mine
is
as well.
probably high five. Yeah, let's go.
Nerds,
but 3 is also incredible, and it's like And like we mentioned earlier, Kojima leverages the hardware and the medium that he's using incredibly well. There are a ton of little things. Spinning Snake around in the menu so he throws up the poison that he has in him if you're out of serums or antidotes. Or littler stuff that's maybe easier for Konami to do, but if they forget it, it's huge, like forgetting the croc cap or all the little frogs to shoot all over the area.
The croc cap I do believe is in it. The croc cap is in it.
With 3, and this is, once again, haven't played it. I've just seen, like clips and what you're talking about with Kojima kind of leveraging the video game-ness of video games in the story. As someone who's just kind of seen it from the outside, and maybe these are in different games. There is the fight with, I want to say, the end where you can go into like your game and say it's a week later, and then he's just fucking dead.
I was about to bring that up actually.
There was you
can also kill the end early. If you one
You're
screen
fast
before,
enough.
you can get a sniper rifle, and you can kill the end early if you're good enough at shooting. And if
then
they get rid of
the
that,
fight,
it's
you just walk into the area and nothing happens.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
It's crazy.
oh shit, there was another one. I think that was in 3.
and it's like, oh, sorry.
No. I mean, go ahead because I have to think what it was. It was just in my head.
Or like
There's-
the stuff with Volgan. If you throw the glow shrooms that you get in the cave, his electricity will zap to the glow shrooms. Or in the cave right after the first Ocelot fight, when it's dark, and if you stay in there long enough, your night vision slowly adapts and you see the place brighter. There are a ton of these little things that if they get rid of, it's just gonna make a worse experience.
There's and maybe this isn't 3. Correct me if I'm wrong, and correct me if I'm completely fucking off base. There's some segment where you're walking through like a waist deep river, and you're confronted by every person that you've killed in the game or something. And if you don't kill people, or if you haven't killed many people, like it's just like, oh, you're walking through, here's 1 or 2. But if you go through and kill everybody,
Dex has taken on the philosophy of murder everybody, so I don't deal with them later. It pains my soul because the game ultimately encourages you to not kill people. That was actually the first design principle that Kojima came up with. Like he wanted to make a shooter game where you avoided conflict. So seeing Dex murder everybody really hurts. But yeah, I can't wait to see him get through that scene because that scene ultimately gets very long the more people you murder.
Luckily,
it is
he does not
obnoxiously
watch
long.
this.
Yeah.
And also the solution to the sorrow puzzle is very difficult for new players. It is not immediately apparent how to solve that puzzle.
So is that in 3?
Sorrow's 3, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, like what you said, Rose, about him utilizing the video gameness of video games and the art form. Like, let's put it out there. The video games are art, and even me, somebody who has not played these games, like I can look at the Metal Gear games, I can look at Death Stranding and be like, no. I get if someone is complaining and being like, video games aren't art. You go fucking look at what this man who is with a team. Obviously, he's not doing everything alone, but there are auteurs in film. Hideo Kojima seems like an auteur in video games, where he's, you know what, here's the medium that I have, and instead of just telling a story that you're interacting with, I'm using this medium to make an interactive piece.
Yeah,
like he's a guy that wants to be a filmmaker, but uses the video game medium and just stretches it and just goes, how far and what cool things can I do? Because it's an active piece of media that people are participating in rather than a passive one like a movie.
Yeah.
And that's why I really despise when people are like, oh, Kojima just wants to be a filmmaker. Because it's like, maybe, but that doesn't discredit the amazing things he's done with the medium of video games.
Yes. Well, like, I mean, maybe he wants to be a filmmaker, but I don't, once again, somebody on the outside, I don't see these games as being like, oh, he wants to make a film, so he's making these kind of artsy A24 pieces of shit, you know what I mean? Like, just being obtuse to be obtuse. From the people who love his work, the two of you included, like, he's taking everything that he can do in this medium and using it in a way that helps the medium, as opposed to just saying, I'm doing this to do, you have to fight, Psycho Mantis, you have to change your controller because it's funny. It's just a thing. Like, no, I figured out a way to have this character in the game read their memory cards and say it to the player, and figure out a way for them to have to beat this boss in a different way by utilizing as a mechanic by utilizing the video gameness of video games and consoles and all of this stuff to make it more of an immersive experience for the player. Where if he wants to be a filmmaker, which maybe he does, he's not going to have that freedom to make the type of interactive story or even story that he wants to make. You can tell a story on film, but there's a whole different set of tools to tell that story efficiently and entertainingly entertainingly. Is that a word? Entertaining, whatever, as a video game. So, like you said, people who are like, oh, he just wants to be a filmmaker. Cool, let him go make a film, and it's probably not going to make any fucking sense. If he's doing it the way he's making video games, there'll be a cool story, but you're not going to have those intricacies of playing the video game and interacting with this story and learning about the world the way that you do when you're just seeing 120, 150 minutes in a row.
There are two things that I want to say on top of that.
Yeah.
It does seems like he is dabbling in movie making now, because
he does have what Fizzin? Yeah.
Fizzin and the Jordan Peele collaboration, whatever that's going to be. We don't know really anything about that yet. On OD, that's right. On top of that, the Metal Gear movie, whatever that is or isn't right now, because it seems like it's in development hell. Jordan Voight Roberts was supposed to be the director of that. I don't think that movie, no matter how much of this guy, Jordan Voight Roberts, is like going to do homage to the Metal Gear Solid, I don't think he'll be able to pull off what Metal Gear Solid pulls off, because it's not in the video game medium. Mm-hmm. Because you are not an active participant like Solid Snake playing in the game, right? Yeah. Like, I think the meaning will change. And I don't think it's going to have the same impact. Like, honestly, when I think of the Metal Gear Solid movie, I think of like the Resident Evil movies from back in the day, and how like kind of
100% perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go with that. we'll go with that. Yep. Whatever you say, boss.
But no, you bring up a good point. Like, how do you translate Ocelot rigging your inventory with a time bomb that you have to kind of find yourself in a movie in a way that's like captures same.
Hold on, what is this now?
So
in Metal Gear Solid 1, you explain.
Sorry. When you get there's like a torture section in the game where you have to resist torture. And he strips you of all your gear. You break out eventually and you get your gear back, but Ocelot plants a bomb in your gear that will go off after a certain period of time if you don't throw it out of your gear. Like and then like you have to, like, you'll actively call somebody and someone will tell you about it or whatever. You find it in your inventory. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, if you're not paying attention. Mm-hmm. Dex did not pay attention. I loved that.
And it's like, how do you translate that into a movie? Like, is there a scene where Snake is just like, oh, what's this time bomb? Like, it won't have the same tension as it has when you were a player for the first time, and maybe in my case and in Dex's case, blew up and had to game over and figure out why that happened.
Like the Psycho Mantis scene alone won't hit as hard because you're not actively challenged as a viewer to figure out why Snake can't hit Psycho Mantis.
Now, right? So the both of you Dex, not Neo, but Dex and Rose, you both just recently played Metal Gear Solid 1. How do they do that fight without, because we don't have physical memory cards. We don't have fucking controller ports anymore.
I played on the GOG version, and what they do is they make you use your keyboard, because most people play the PC port with the controller, and they say, you gotta learn how to use a keyboard now, and you have to look up the keyboard keybinds. There is not a memory card read, unfortunately, and I think this is a really good example of how Konami could accidentally or purposefully screw up the Delta remake, because this is a huge, pivotal portion of the Psycho Mantis boss fight that just doesn't exist anymore due to hardware changing over the years. Yeah. So if they can retain all of that, great. And that's why I'm happy they did at least release the Master Collection so people can play 3 in its original form in case Delta ends up being just not good. But
4 is still trapped on the PlayStation 3 hardware, which is very unfortunate.
It is.
And I own my PS3 still, because there's no fucking way I am going to not be able to play that game ever again.
But I still have my
PS3 to stream on, because I have the
MGS4
I still have my PS4 because it has PT installed. Completely different series, completely different, but God. Dude, I never got rid of my PS4
talking about PT. Jesus Christ.
We'll do that in
one
October.
Of the greatest. Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so fucking good. Can we take like a quick break?
Mm-hmm.
I got pee real bad, you guys. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Break the seal. Go ahead.
Or, keep talking, but I'll be right back.
Yeah. So Rose, what are your real thoughts on Neo? So no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, while he's gone, let me ask you: is Metal Gear Solid 3? And maybe I read this wrong, or maybe I just read this and or maybe I didn't read this and just made it up. Is Metal Gear Solid 3 the first canonical game in the series?
Yeah, so
is that why they're remaking that one?
Well, and that's what's tough, right? So chronologically, it does happen first in the Metal Gear Solid timeline. But I really dislike chronological play order, specifically because it makes you start with 3 first. And I think if you don't know who Big Boss is, if you don't know that Solid Snake has fought him twice in the Metal Gear games, or you don't know about Dead Cell for Metal Gear Solid 2, or any of the bosses for Metal Gear Solid 1, then Metal Gear Solid mirroring those with the Cobras is just not going to make as much sense.
Cobra.
And it's why I'm kind of bummed they're starting it out with Delta, but at the same time, it's their most popular one. So if they want to gauge popularity, I guess that's probably the way to go.
Is there talk of them doing more?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything, but there could be.
Okay. So would you recommend if somebody wanted to play through the game? So like our friend Dex is playing through the game with Neo, and they're doing 1, 2, 3, 4. They're going, in number order. Would you recommend that's the way to play it?
That is my preference, with one caveat, which is if you're playing Peace Walker, as Neo mentioned, I don't know where I am on the thing, but whichever direction Neo is mentioned, it kind of adds context to the end of 3 and the start of 5. And so if you are playing Peace Walker, I would recommend going, it fits in between those two chronologically. And 4 is actually the farthest in the future, if you don't count Rising. It gets a little confusing, but I would recommend playing like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you're playing Peace Walker, play 1, 2, 3, Peace Walker 5, and then 4. Just because like Peace Walker's context is really weird if you play it in release order, which is after 4. Just because either then you're going like from it just has so much to do with the ending of 3 that it feels really weird to not play it right after 3.
Don't forget about Ground Zeroes.
Oh yeah, Ground Zeroes before 5 as well.
It's a prologue to 5.
Okay, but when do I play Birth by Sleep?
Never, because what the fuck?
I've never played Kingdom Hearts, so I'm not the person to ask.
Hold on, wait, hold on. Can you say that again?
I've never played Kingdom Hearts, so I'm not the person to ask.
Look, I'm still learning about Kingdom Hearts 2. It's kind of a weird thing, I'm still figuring
I'm at my
it out.
own house. I can't go anywhere. I don't know. I just wanted to storm off.
All I know is Birth by Sleep the one that has the number that's like 356 divided by 2?
No, that's 356 by 2
one.
days. Come on.
It's a separate one.
Okay. my fault.
So,
again.
and you know what? I mean, I mentioned Birth by Sleep as a joke, but we kind of talked about this on the Game Swap episodes with Neo. The storyline in Metal Gear seems to be confusing as fuck at times. And the storyline in Kingdom Hearts is dumb. So, Neo, your love of Metal Gear, do you think that helps you to be like, I'm looking at these little things in Kingdom Hearts, or I'm looking at these videos, screenshots, or just characters, and being like, you know what, this might be something that I have to pay attention to. Do you think the Metal Gear Solid games have made you a better Kingdom Hearts player?
Oh man, I think, honestly, after playing Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 and doing Chain of Memories, watching the Chain of Memories movie, because I didn't play it.
Yeah. Don't fucking look. Chain of Memories, fun story. You don't have to fucking play that thing.
At this point in time, I think Kingdom Hearts is way more convoluted in its messaging and the way it tries. The way it tries.
That's it. The way it tries.
It's like purposefully obtuse in the way it provides you with information.
Yeah.
So when I came back, you guys were talking about how should I play the games, and I'm assuming, Rose, correct me if I'm wrong, you said release order.
Yeah, with
for the most part, except for Peace
playing
Walker.
Peace Walker.
Yeah.
Fair enough. That's totally fair. That is the way. I would do release order as well, for the sole reason you get information. In my opinion, you get information that the game is telling you in the right order, so you can understand everything. And I think that's don't play it in timeline order.
Is there
Just
a
don't do
machete
that.
order that you would recommend?
That means, is that a Tarantino thing?
No. So the machete order is it's a Star Wars thing, where
Okay. I think I've heard of this.
you watch A New Hope to learn who Darth Vader is. You skip episode 1, and then you watch episodes 2 and 3 to see the rise of Darth Vader, and then you watch 5 and 6.
What about 1?
When do you watch 1?
You fucking don't.
What? That's Phantom Menace.
There's
I had
the
so
Darth
many
Maul.
Phantom Menace toys.
It's
I
got,
had a
it's
little-
got the Fates song, the best song.
I had a little pod racer that you could fit onto like cans, and it had a little Anakin in it, and it was like a lid because I would spill all my shit as a baby.
Hell yeah.
Does the story of Phantom Menace add to Star Wars at all?
I have no idea.
Or if you jump into, I know who
Sounds
Darth
like another
Vader
podcast
is.
topic.
I know who Darth Vader is. I know who Obi-Wan Kenobi is. And you jump into 2 where Anakin and Obi-Wan are working together, and you don't see fucking Qui-Gon Jinn, who's never mentioned ever again. You never see pod racing, which you never see mentioned again.
You know what? You get to see where Obi-Wan comes from.
Hell?
You get to see.
So fun
and
fact:
Anakin.
I've only seen episode 4, episode 1, and episode 2 of Star Wars, and Solo.
Oh my god.
It's a huge gap in my
Nerddom.
knowledge.
We don't have enough time to dive into this.
No, but like you two would recommend, okay, just play them 1 through 5 and Peace Walker after, you said after 3?
Yeah,
And then
so
4 at
Peace
the end,
Walker-
though.
Yeah, if you play Peace Walker, play 4 at the end, because Peace Walker links 3 and 5 in a really nice way. But
Okay.
otherwise, yeah, just release order.
Now, I feel like we're missing the 2 most important games in this series. Revengeance
series?
and Survive.
Oh. I mean, Revengeance,
No.
you literally play whenever you want because it's a cool action game made by Platinum. And I'm gonna get. I don't like what Revengeance did with Raiden's character. I'm very mad about it because I think Raiden had
it erases everything after his 4 ending.
He had such an interesting character arc leading into 4. It wasn't perfect, but it was interesting.
Is he in 3?
Like, get that out of here. No, he's not in 3.
No, yeah, because that canonically.
Well, that's a good point. You do get there's Rykov. That's right.
Yeah. Also, you get asked in the original. Oh man, do you think the Delta game is going to ask you which game do you like better? Or
I hope so, because I always pick 2, and it gives you the Raiden mask early.
It gives you the Raiden mask. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh wow, they better get this right. Holy shit.
They're gonna fuck it up. It's Konami. They're gonna fuck it up.
They're gonna fuck it up. Look, Silent Hill 2 was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It did
That was
pretty good
Bloober
job.
Team, though, wasn't it?
That's
Who's making Delta? Is it Konami
Virtuous.
proper or who?
Yeah.
It's a company called Virtuous.
Okay. Do they have anything else?
Which is funny because it's the name of the first mission in Metal Gear Solid 3.
Yeah, the Virtuous mission.
Ooh. So is
But
it a company that was
apparently
made to make that, or?
I'm looking up the studio.
Okay, thank
Virtuous.
you.
Singaporean studio. I do know that they're making Dune Awakening. They also did Dark Souls Remastered.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Dark Souls Prepare to Die edition. I was like, oh no. But if it's remastered, that also wasn't the best remaster. But
where is I don't even see Delta listed on here. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, maybe you are wrong, Neo. Who's to say? Nobody. We don't know. You're probably wrong, though. I love you, but you're probably wrong. Anyway, that was the first half of the 2-parter episode that I did with Rose Waltz and NeoAoshi, all about Kojima, Death Stranding, Metal Gear Solid, Death Stranding 2, all that stuff. So if you didn't mind that weird cutoff there and you want to see more, go ahead and watch last week's episode, just called Death Stranding 2 Trailer Theories with Rose and Neo. And yeah, hope y'all had a good time with this one. It was really fun. It was a great conversation. Just kept going on because I don't know when to shut the fuck up. But Mike and I will see you next week with a great guest with a cool topic, all about something that I think a lot of people out there are going to really enjoy, and with a guest that a lot of people out there will know, whether or not you know his face or not. And we will see you next week. I'm going to hit the outro music, and, we'll just hang out here until that's done. Is it playing? Nope. Still, you know what? This outro music it's like 40 seconds long, the whole build. It's usually playing as a couple of us are talking over each other, so I don't really hear it until it's super loud. Now that I'm alone, how long there's still 10 seconds. Anyway, we'll see you next week. Bye.